There we go. Right, looks like we're ready to go. Well, 3 rounds in. Let's keep the show on the road. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to round 4 of our FPRL Season 10 Tier 3 Championship. We are in this rather gloomy Styrian Mountains in Austria at the Red Bull Ring, a track that's going to have a lot of overtaking. Let's just say that. But before we get to the race, we have some qualifying to do. I'm Cruise Racing 72. Joining me, you know the drill by now. Monkey Boy Kurt, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Thank you very much. I hope it's going to be another great race. As always, like I say before the start of these, and it's looking a bit gloomy out there on the track, out on the Red Bull Ring. And I think potentially we might see some drivers come out quite quickly, unless it's going to be overcast for the whole session. But yeah, maybe a threat of some rain. We'll have to wait and see. But as we go into tonight, we've just to give you a little recap of the top 3 in the championship. That's Jan disputed. He's still leading the championship by 21 points. Sheriff Woody in second, and after his win last week, Reese's Pieces finds himself now up in 3rd position. So, be very interesting to see which of those 3 can perform the best tonight. If one of them can be the winner, or are we going to see another winner in Tier 3 this season? We'll have to wait and see.
Well, we're 3 for 3 so far in race winners, so let's see if we can make it 4 for 4. We've got a couple of new drivers in. Obviously, Josh returning after his a couple of weeks out from Australia, taking over from Major Allen tonight in the Haas. And GSY, if I'm correct, actually making his debut this season in the main campaign. So we'll see what the Williams driver for tonight has to do. I'm sure the family pair of the Tattoo Star and Rainbow cheering him on while they take a well-deserved rest. In the case of the Tattoo Star, some study time. But up to the end of Sector 1, very short track obviously is the Red Bull Ring. Barely a minute to get round here and only 10 corners. I say only, all the more reason to get them absolutely spot on, because there's so little margin for error here. And we've seen as well in the esports categories just how fine a margin it can be around some tracks, especially this one. We're talking literally hundredths of a second between pole and even somewhere down towards like 3rd or 4th. So to get this right round here, it is essential. And Butterfly will get the first lap on the board, should keep it in boundaries. And so far they are. That bath rate looking very unhealthy though around this track. In the final couple of corners, the pit entry here, you've got to be careful because it kind of filters onto the racing line. So in the race we should keep an eye out for that. And the final corner, so easy to invalidate. So easy to invalidate, that is. Butterfly does not. Sets a 106.0. David Lawface pops up with a 105.6. His teammate Button beginning his adventure now. Wizard of Oz a 104.6. Well, we know what he can do in qualifying along with a couple of others, especially a reigning race winner of Reese's Pieces. Still in the Red Bull around turn 8. Again, easy to drift wide. Validations here, we will expect some, but it's not as easy as say the likes of Canada last time out, where you even go literally a millimetre over the white line, you are out. But Reese's Pieces up to the line, it's a 104.8. So it puts him up in the front row provisionally. Godfather's that lap time I think is just a banker lap. Where's Button in all this? He is around sector 2. Anyone else just seen right now on a lap, Monkey Boy Chart, or...
Yeah,
just
seen Locker come in on a 5.2. That was a good lap. He did had quite a lot of battery still left to use, so I think we could definitely see some improvement potentially on there. Button has invalidated a 104.6, would have been up there on pole position if he hadn't invalidated, but now here comes LIG Josh, and as he takes the final corner, gets on the overtake, and what's he going to produce? And he goes up to P3 now, with a 104.9 in there as well. We've got a couple of other people coming around their laps. JSY now back in the Williams tonight. He's obviously now reserve. Let's see what he can do. Have a few races away. What can he produce? And as he comes towards the line, it's going to be, I think, about the top 5. It does go up to P4 with a 105.1. And now we've got Sid Sandwich, who I can definitely say has definitely improved his pace in the recent end of the last season and the start of this one. And he now goes up to P4. And as we're already seeing, so close around this track, obviously the shortest lap on the calendar, and so many drivers within thousandths of each other, but all of these times now starting to come in, and I'm wondering who is going to be able to get the best timing at the end. It could be, like we saw last week, only about 3 thousandths separating the top guys.
Just looking here through the margins between some of these drivers. Looking at Sid Sandwich in 4th down to Locker in 8th. That is 5 drivers covered by a tenth of a second. Like I said, the margins of error around here are very, very fine and few. So, still, we're barely 5 minutes into qualifying. A couple of drivers yet to set their lap time. We got Cactus heading round for their run. A couple of drivers in their outlap as well. And I see some movement there. Sheriff Woody and Wizard of Oz heading out immediately for a second run. Not messing about there is the Haas driver, currently provisional pole. Cactus now in the McLaren. See what they can do. Turn 3 around here. I always find personally it's such a difficult corner to get right. It's not like you want to go on the power so early, but you can't. But at the same time, you just need to wait so long to get around there because you're just going to get a snap of oversteer. But round turn 4 and then towards the double left-hander of turn 6. And then turn 7, Cactus up on a 45.3. That's a solid effort so far for the McLaren driver. There is a Haas plane in the gravel trap. That'll be Josh keeping out the way of both of the McLarens actually, because Godfather is, I believe, on a lap ahead of his teammate. Cactus, a good bit of battery around the final corner, throwing it to the left. And a 105.2 puts him ahead of David, and I think that's Godfather, trying to help out his teammate actually, giving him a bit of a slipstream, but does not help too much. Now there's our Gummers in the Mercedes, a couple of corners left. I say always there's just a few corners to go, just a testament to how short this track is, and the testament to how difficult the track limits can be sometimes, just lazy, drifting wide, and that's a 105.0 that would have been. For the Mercedes, that would have put him up in 4th until Speedy P popped up on a 104.7. So what we're seeing right now is the top 4, 2 Haas's and 2 Red Bulls. Looks like we have our potential rivalry for tonight, but I think some drivers will have something to say about that, looking at the foot of the field.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and to see Speedy B up there as high as he is in P2 shows that potentially in the race he could be a very, very, very fast driver to comprehend with, because we all know that he's better in the race normally than he is in quali, so if quali can go well for him, obviously the race looks even better. We've got a few more drivers coming around now. Here comes Sheriff Woody on his first lap. Obviously took the first win of the season, did the kick salver, and now finds himself P2 in the standings, just off Jan Dispute, who he wanted to have a good result tonight to get himself further up there, closer to the leading pack, and he goes up to P7 in front of his teammate Leonardo by around about a tenth of a second for now. We've also got coming around the final corner, Wizard of Oz goes even quicker with a 104.3. 3 tenths quicker than his previous lap, and that's going to be definitely something to beat here. But we've got 2 drivers that we know are very, very quick in quali. One is the championship leader of Jan Dispute. He's now coming around to finish his lap, and then we've got also the quali master of Tier 3, which is Button. He's also going to be coming around very shortly, but we'll go on board with Jay Undisputed for now, our championship leader. Around the final corner he comes now, and he'll be looking to try and get at least up into the top 5 in his first lap. Is going to put him up to P2, which is exactly where he wants to find himself, up there fighting with the likes of Wizard of Oz. And now we're going to see Button come in a 44.6 through Sector 2 now, and he looks very quick as well. He did invalidate his first lap, and it would have been a 104.6, but he's lost all of that battery now coming through the last sector of the lap, already down to about 5% as he comes towards the line. I think he's lost some time here, but is it going to be good enough? And it is only good enough for P3, but I think if he had a bit more battery in hand there, it potentially could have put him right up there with Wizard of Oz in P1.
I think he drifted wide to the final corner. That might have cost him a tenth and a bit. Could have been a front row there for Button, but I'm sure 3rd place he won't be too upset at. But Wizard of Oz having a 2/10 cushion to the pack behind them, and we're seeing as well a couple of drivers in the 104s, a couple of them in the very low 105s. And I count at least 6 drivers in the 105.2. So just again an idea how close. So you know what? With the lack of drivers on track, let's keep an eye out on Locker. Haven't really given him much time in qualifying this campaign, except last time out in Canada, where he almost speared a Ferrari. That certainly would not have ended well for him, but he's... I just want to say, if he finds a 10th of a second on this lap, that's going to put him up 4 places. Just say once, I say it again, qualifying in FPRL in general, it's always found a way just to be so closely contested as the seasons have went on. And for Locker's sake, he wants to get a good result tonight. It's not been the greatest of campaigns so far for the Mercedes driver. Had a stint at Red Bull, he done very well there, but still he's feeling a little bit left out, I think. Trying to get that old form back as the veteran of the league, along with David down in 14th. The two of them hoping to show the young blood what they can do. And around to the end of Sector 3, he's going to abandon that lap, jinking to the right and going into the pit lane. So obviously Locker not happy with that lap. With 6 minutes left, you can kind of see why. He's going to probably just get another set of tyres on and go again. I think another driver that's a bit out of place here. Our Dummer's down in 17th, the Flow down in 15th. So a couple of drivers yet to improve. We got Leonardo on their run and Reese's Pieces as well. So keep an eye out on them. We've got 5 minutes left, and who did me I have yet to interact with the chat. And GSY tuning in saying, not bad, mate. I think that was your mic cutting out earlier on Monkey Boy Kurt. And Silver Say Boy redeeming a drink and a safety car question when the time arrives. And for that, Silver Say Boy, and thank you to those tuning in tonight on this Monday evening for our week around the Red Bull Ring. And here's to plenty more racing action as the time goes, as I see Leonardo has put himself ahead of Reese's Pieces. So good effort that there for the Sauber, up in 5th. And with 5 minutes left, anyone looking to improve?
Well, yeah, I mean, Leonardo, that's a great lap from him there. I think Reese's Pieces would have improved, but he did invalidate on his run. He would have gone up to a low 104.7, which would have put him up to P4, but it's not meant to be right now. He's got 5 minutes left, though, obviously, to get around and get another lap. And we have got some other guys on their laps. Our Gummers is actually on another out lap or another warm-up lap, but I would think now he's got to come in and get some more tyres. His fuel light's also flashing. But we'll go to Butterfly, who I think is going to be the next driver to come around. Or actually, it might be Godfather. Godfather's coming around now. He's almost 4 tenths up. This will put him up to around the top 5 mark as he comes around the final corner. Took that lovely. As he comes around, it puts him up to P4 now. And some of these better times starting to come in. Go back to Butterfly. Butterfly coming into the pits, still on the medium tyres, which is a bit of a surprise. But surely now he'll get onto the hards. Onto the softs for the final run of the session. David Lolfade's going through there. A 105.2 is the time, and Jan Disputed going through and beating that provisional pole time of Wizard of Oz by 200ths of a second. That's exactly what he wanted, and he has got time. Obviously, such a small lap round here to get in and get another set of tyres to potentially have another go at it for the latter stages of this session. But a great lap there. But here comes Button. Button is invalidated, so he will not be improving. Sheriff Woody is around a 10th up, but he's also invalidated. So a lot of invalidations coming in now. Obviously, Godfather's already set his lap. And we're sort of coming around to the time now where everyone's now going to be just coming out for their last runs or coming into the pits now for their last run. It's either going to be that an Aviation JSY, obviously very close there to David Lovelace. He is not on a lap either. I don't think anyone's on a lap here now. Maybe potentially Sid Sandwich. No, he's not on a lap either. I think, yeah, everyone's now either going to be in the pits or on an out lap or on an in lap.
I suppose now is the time to get your final runs prepared and ready. 3 minutes left to go, and this is now where another game begins. It's called Get a Half Decent Bit of Track to Set Your Lap Time. Is obviously with a 1 minute lap time and an 18 car field, yeah, margins are not going to be much, so you need to find the perfect spot to filter in. We've seen Josh and Reese's Pieces head out for their final run. Might be a sign of 2 prep laps, as both of the RBs are getting a little bit held up as, if I'm correct, that is Jay getting serviced into his garage before Sid Sandwich. There's both of the Salvers heading out, along with an Alpine. That looks to be David Lawface, as I can tell by the helmet, hopefully. I'll find out in about 10 seconds time when it shows up on the leaderboard, but Leonardo and Sheriff Woody not messing about, and out of his button. Right, well, I know the other helmet is David Lawface. Godfather actually on a run right now, getting a bit of a toll from his teammate. Both of McLaren's trying something different here, it seems like, as there is Leonardo diving out the way of the pair of them. And now towards turn 4. Is Cactus going to let him through? It doesn't look like it. Both of them going on a push lap. It is risky. Cactus needs to get this lap together, but he is down in 13th. Godfather up in 4th with a cracking effort himself to get on the second row. He finds a couple more tents. He found 4 on his first run. What's another 3? As around sector 2, he is down actually on his time. If I were him, I'd turn that battery off and go for a cooldown lap as quick as possible, because Cactus, where are you on contrast to your time? You are up by a 10th, and around the final corner, a little bit wide, drifts wide, and is this going to be enough? He's backed off as well. So it's not worked out there for the McLaren duo. We've got a minute and 20 left. They might just have enough time, but as the track starts to fill up, is that a little bit too late to abandon your run?
Yeah, you really get, obviously it's a short lap, it's a short track. You really want to get a good bit of track here to get your lap in. You don't want to be coming up to a big bunch of cars. That can really affect you. But now everyone out on the track, Jay Undisputed is going to have enough time to have another go at trying to improve in his current provisional pole lap. But everyone now, apart from 3 drivers, out on their final runs. And as we see the first one's coming in, I think the first one's going to be Reese's Pieces, but he's going to have another outlap. He's going to be starting his lap now. And I'm just trying to see anyone else. Sid Sandwich now coming to the line. And there's Locker. And then we've got Jan Dispute in that. So the first one is actually going to be Sheriff Woody, who's going to start his lap now. So yeah, everyone trying to get in at the right time here. Rayman is going to improve. No, he's not, but he will go again as well. It's really difficult to tell here who's going to improve first. It might be one of the McLarens. And Josh is into the pits as well. He's not going to improve. Here comes Speedy B. What can he do? He improves by 57 thousandths, but doesn't go up any places. And now everyone's going to start coming across this line. Who is going to improve?
Wizard of Oz missed the flag. He missed it along, I think, Butterfly in front of him. He just made it. Wizard of Oz missed it. Oh, that is a disaster for the Haas driver. Button, I don't think he's going to improve either. It's just moving through the field. The flow finally hooks the lap together, up in 6th. Leonardo missed the flag as well. Reese's Pieces up by a 10th. Around the final corner, can he put himself towards the top 5? And that answer is yes. 4th place for the Red Bull. Godfather's invalidated. So really the only real challenger here is if somebody can claw back a second on their run, which Sheriff Woody tries to, he goes wide. And that is a disaster for him. 13th for the Sauber. Cactus is on his run. The final 2 will be Rayman and Butterfly. Rayman up to 15th. Cactus gets that all wrong at the final corner. That will have hemorrhaged time. He's going to stay 16th. Butterfly's the last one to go, along with Speedy B, who abandons it. And Jay Undisputed just stretches his legs even more. A 104.324 pole position for the RB.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Last place Butterfly, didn't get the run he wanted. So if we take him out of the equation, the whole field is separated by around about 9 tenths. And if you take out the top 2, that's 3rd to 17th separated by 6 tenths of a second. This is why we love qualifying around the short tracks like Austria, because it is so tight around here. And like I say, one little mistake and it could be a difference between on the front row in the top 5 down to right at the back. David Lowface will feel really hard done by there, P17, and he's only 6 tenths off the top 3. So yeah, very fine margins, and it's going to be even finer margins when we come to this race. I think we're going to see probably a lot of DRS trains today.
That is usually the nature of this track. Up in the hills and up on pole, Jay Undisputed. Wizard of Oz though, not much in it between the top 2. Button he'll be okay with third, but knows he could have done better. Reese's Pieces, Godfather up in fifth, a good lap for him. Sid Sandwich up in seventh, the Flow hooked it up to get eighth, Locker, Leonardo the top 10. And JSY actually not too far behind for his first outing of the season. In 11th, yes, on paper average, but only 6/10 off pole. It's not a bad effort for the for the reserve driver. And compared to earlier on, bright sunny skies across the mountains. So it's that time again, Multi Boy Chart. We got an intermission. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think I want to just highlight just a couple of the people from quali that did really well there. Obviously, Locke back in the top 10. He'll be pleased with that. And I think it's just, like I said earlier, there's some drivers that are really coming to sort of grips now. They're finding their speed. They started off maybe not as fast, but they're really starting to get up to grips now with obviously the game and their driving styles, and they're really starting to challenge the front guys. So obviously Sid Sandwich once again in the top 10. We're starting to see him always now challenging for those high points positions, from obviously having a couple of seasons where he was sort of fighting for maybe the odd point, but he seems to really have improved. Godfather as well, last season found himself a bit further down the grid, but now obviously qualifying P5, really good for him. And I think we have to give a shout out to Jay as well. Obviously, Jay is our championship leader. He's on pole today. He came into this league a good 4 seasons ago now, and we never really saw him as high as we have. But now it really is something that really.
Looks like someone's. Sounds like somebody's
got
a slap in the wrist. That seems to be a lobby reset.
Did lobby restart? Oh, I thought I disconnected for a minute.
Yep. Called in a Discord. Let's have a restart because I think somebody disobeyed the rules. Yep. Our rules are you don't ready up before a lobby host. You need to wait for the timer to pop up on screen. Obviously, someone's a little bit too eager to get going. Yeah,
definitely. And it looks like in the chat, Sid Sandwich has given us a little hint to what we can expect in this race by the comment of what on earth is this weather for the race. So we could potentially be seeing some very maybe wet, dry potentially from the looks of that.
We're certainly in for an interesting show, but I suppose if we are able to get the same weather, this will be interesting. Or we might have just been denied an absolute cracker, I don't know. Anyway, so while the lobby gets itself back, so you get back together, so we've got a little bit more to talk about. Because for me, the thing we should point on is that tomorrow, being the 18th of February, is the F1 show. All the cars and liveries are getting released, glorified.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to seeing that tomorrow night. And yeah, just seeing if anyone's sort of gone for a bit of an out there livery this season. Obviously, you know, when we saw the Kicksauber a couple of years ago going to green, that was a bit of a change. But I wonder if we're going to see any other teams sort of spice it up maybe a little bit potentially. I can't seem to join the session at the moment.
Throw an invite over. Where are you? There you are. So, as I invite you to the party as well, of course, we're already there. Silver's Boy is saying, what I need to know is where has Multi Boy Kurt been? So, there we go. Welcome back. Where have you been?
Not far, but I still can't get in. Hold on. I'm trying again. Hold on. Let me try your invite again. It's not letting me join.
Try again.
Join.
Well, suppose Silver Boy, you redeemed the safety car question, so do the time as any to get that out of the way now. So, unless you want to know where Monkey Boy Kurt has been, was your safety car question, which in that case is a little bit of a waste. I suppose on that note though, talking about drinks and safety car questions on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/FP Racing League. You get incentives for watching and supporting the stream through channel points. What are channel points? Stay and support the stream. You earn channel points, and the more you earn, the more you can interact with the commentary team. And Silver Say Boy says, him wanting to know where you've been was the question. That is a waste.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I kind of haven't really been away. I was doing comms last week. I didn't race because it's clearly more important things to do when you're not a single bloke on February the 14th. But
Hey.
Oi, wink, wink. Say no more. Say no more. But
Well, at least one of the two has to. That's all I'm gonna say. At least one of the two in the Tom's pairing needs to.
Yes, Gary, that is where I have been. If you were wondering where I was last week and not racing, hopefully I'm going to be able to join. And yes, I'm in. Get in there.
Yes. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the channel points. You can get a safety car question, like Silverside Boy has done. A drink redemption to dividend, just because. Why not? A truth are there for keeping it PG and a bit of fun. Commentator catchphrase, that'll be fun. And you can even do an impersonation as well, or nominate a catchphrase for one of the team to say. Keep it PG, guys, because I know some of you out there through our Discord server, through the league, and through FPRL in general. You guys love to have fun. Let's just leave it at that. But on the topic of that, Nightbot chipping in the chat saying, like what you see, jump into our F1 Discord server. Indeed, jump into our F1 recruitment server. Complete the sign-up steps. I mean, you can actually take part in FPRL. Taking recruitments, taking down names for the upcoming Season 10 stint, and the end of F1 24 in just a few months' time. Sid Sandwich asking if you just heard me say yes twice, actually, now and then. So we're still waiting for the grid to get shuffled about and set. What else is there?
How have Rangers been getting on?
There's your answer.
There's your answer.
Now let's just say I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about anything else, but no that, because it'll put me in a bad mood.
Okay, we'll try and avoid that then.
Yeah. So I don't know if Trostry was covering, then he'd definitely be asking and just saying what happened last week for in the Scottish Cup, aka our equivalent to the English FA Cup. Yeah. We're out. We're out. We're out in the last 16.
Right, I think we've got everyone in. I think that is everyone.
I always get these names mixed up. I Am Cancelled that's Jay Undisputed.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this is a little bit cheaty. He's nominated the catchphrase, but for every track limit penalty in this race, I want to hear a trademark Gary Neville ooh and all that. So
but every penalty.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a 36 lap race. There's going to be a lot.
I feel like you have to do that more specifically for one driver.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of penalties tonight. Reese's Pieces hoping the weather stays the same. A sign of confidence then for the Red Bull driver. And Jay, I think, honestly, you should redeem 1,000 points for every time you want us to say that. Because it sounds a little bit cheaty, wanting it done for everyone in the field. We got 18 drivers in the lobby. So now we're just waiting for the grid to get ready, and then we can get set to go. And again, a reminder for the field and those who are watching, remember your setups, and don't ready up until the lobby host clicks yes, and the timer pops up on screen. Because it's not the first time this has happened this season. Please make sure it's the last.
Reese's Pieces. There we go. How many
How many
12
12 seconds?
do you think we'll see? Oh, 12 seconds. I reckon 3.
Hmm.
I don't
And
reckon we'll get...
Undisputed wanting it for when someone reaches 6 seconds of penalties.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. And let's have some fun. Open hunt truth out there. Who wants it? Redeemed by me. Whoever selects me and Monkey Boy Turret first, then you can pick up. You can just pick for the poison chalice. We know exactly where this is going.
Well, you redeemed it. I could literally just comment now and put Cruiser.
I mean, you could technically if you're quick enough.
Nah, I'm gonna leave it for someone else. There's no fun in that.
What do you mean? There's no fun in that?
There's no fun in that. It's just like us trying to make something. We should leave it to the viewers.
It means for the first time we actually have an interactive truth or dare. It's not just somebody typing it in the chat and just someone going, "Oh, for God's sake," as they read it and wonder, right? I need to do that now, don't I? Oh.
Okay. Oh, I got.
Anyway,
he's beat me to it.
Sid beat you to it, and he's chose me. So first off, Sid, remember your setup. Secondly, feeling dangerous. Go for it there.
See, if you'd given me that, I would have said do a Murray Walker start when we start the race.
I don't think anyone can do Murray Walker justice. I just tarnished the legacy, honestly. Now, Sid, while you get your setup and select my dare. Just waiting now. So very rarely do we actually run out of things to say. So I suppose, I mean, if Crofty and Martin Brundle can keep talking for like 3 hours and for Belgium 2021, where nothing happened except for a couple of race stewards playing croquet, whatever it was, or garden bowls. And Sid Savage just says to do your best Scouse accent at the start. Can I change mine to a truth? Because I literally cannot do that. Is horrible. Suppose I did ask for it.
Just sound like you're spitting when you say a K. There you go, sorted.
No, it's not even like you're spitting. You just have a stroke mid sentence.
Yeah, basically.
That's pretty much it. You just forget what you're saying halfway through and just ugh. Sid, can you change the accent, please? This isn't gonna go well. If you tell me to do Scottish somehow, it's gonna be even worse. Even though I am from there.
Well, just looking down the race director at what tyres people are choosing, there's a little bit of a change, sort of a mix-up between them. And now he said do an Aussie accent. Is that any better?
Yeah, well, we went from Strauss to Aussie. So basically, just sound like Ange Postecoglou. If anything, we go from Australian, and then I just quickly chicken out of it and go into my normal tone, which is somehow worse. Groggy, mate.
So yeah, like I was saying, that there's a bit of a difference in the tyres from the grid, but looks like it's going to be just the 2 strategies we're probably going to see. Obviously, the safety cars can potentially change that if we get any. But it's been quite clean in Tier 3 so far this season. We haven't really seen too many people going out, especially in the last couple of races. Haven't really seen too many retirements, so we really have got.
You've done it.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, we wanted to see some crashes and everything, so hopefully that's gonna cause it. And the stewards team aren't gonna like me for that, but yeah.
Well, either it'll be a hatred or it'll be a breathe for the stewards team today. But it was Monday, Tier 3 at 8 PM UK time on the twitch.tv/FPRL Racing League. Wednesdays are Tier 2s, Friday are Tier 1. Be sure to tune in for our week in Austria before, if I'm correct, next time out, we head back home. And I'm very looking forward to it. Completely unbiased, my favourite track in the calendar. So we'll see what that is next week. If I'm actually correct, because oh no, I am correct. Nice. We head to Silverstone next week. So get that out of the way. And I'm very much looking forward to that race.
Yeah.
That track owes me a victory from Season 8. I will never let that down.
Best of luck to the stewards. I've had a funny Oreo with some stuff in it. Okay. That's one excuse.
I've had a funny Orero. Orero. From said sandwich. Not an Oreo, an Orero.
That's one way of saying that you're going to bin it into turn 1.
No, I think what it is that some of the crumbs have spilled in his lap. He's too busy. He's too busy dusting him off, and he missed the breaking point.
Yeah, well,
he's had some snack time in the car on the grid. He's just realised he's got some crumbs.
Yeah, he's just waiting. He's just waiting for this race to get underway, and now we're going to see it get underway.
Yeah. Sorry, Sid. I'm going to back out of that. I'm going to back out of you there. But 5 lights. Who dares to win in Austria? We are underway. Apparently, DRS is enabled already, and the grid has come. Oh my goodness me! But some are on lap 2 already. What on earth is going on? Butterfly leads by a lap in towards turn 1. But the order, I would assume, is G Undisputed in second, Wizard of Oz in third, Button fourth. Yeah, this is good. Not them. We've sorted ourselves out. Butterfly now apparently 15th. G Undisputed out in the way. And thank goodness we only got a few more months left in this game.
Yeah, literally, I've no idea what's just happened there. But overall, it was a pretty decent start. Not too many people crashed into each other. It seemed pretty clean. Just looking at the position changes after that first half of a lap, and Butterfly is somehow P11. I don't know how accurate that is, or if he's just taking advantage of people. Oh, and then we got a yellow flag now, and that's Leonardo, who's gone off at the back. But yeah, somehow Butterfly up in 11th. That is an absolutely mental start from the Ferrari, but he has got some end plate damage, I have to say.
Yeah, certainly not the perfect start, but still a very strong start, and that is more than end plate damage. That's almost half of the front wing missing for the Ferrari driver. Rayman in towards turn 1, down the inside. Not really often you overtake there, but Rayman does make it work, but you won't have the DRS, which there is a lot of on this track, and immediately Wizard of Oz putting that to good use says, oh my goodness me, we are getting boxed in this fight for 11th place. The Flow making up 3 places on his teammate as in towards turn 3. We're all getting jumbled up here. Some end plate damage there for our drummers, and that is even more damage to the front wing of Butterfly. He is wounded in towards turn 4. Our drummers now 11th, Rayman 12th. The Flow down 5 places. A poor start for him, down to 13th in that almighty group. And now in towards turn 6. Button getting onto the curb, trying to get by Reese's Pieces. Godfather now tried to run the outside of the Alpine and does not make that work. But Wizard of Oz already into the lead of the race, and Reese's Pieces just about in the 1 second DRS. He's just dropped out. So already the top 2 in their own little private train, and then it's the rest behind them down to 10th place, Sheriff Woody. And then after that, it's the war zone of 11th place back.
Yeah, well, obviously the front 2 are on the medium tyres. Reese's Pieces dropping out of that DRS, so you can maybe understand he's only just outside it, and if these 2 fight each other, he might see himself come back to it. As the Flow is retired, and that's going to be a safety car. And clearly, I don't know if he's lost the back end or if he's been tapped round, but into the barrier goes the Aston Martin, and that is a safety car early on, lap 3 of the race. It means that Wizard of Oz will keep the lead for now. Undisputed second, Reese's Pieces for Button 4th, and Godfather 5th is the order. Oh, and Sid Sandwich, a 10-second penalty for a collision with FPRL Locker, not what he wanted to pick up. And yeah, I know it's very early, but do you think we're going to see any medium runners gamble here and try and take hards to the end? Because I don't think the tyre wear around Austria is that bad at all.
Well, I think we'll have our answer in a few seconds' time, because the top 2 stay out and so does Button. Yeah, I think this is a little bit too early to pit for medium tyres, as, yep, it looks like everyone I think barring if you've got any damage, you did a stay out. There's no much point to it. Our Dummers is taking that go long approach. So the Mercedes team into the pits, unless this is damage to that car, which it doesn't look like it. And it must be very fine wing damage, because that is a new front wing for the Mercedes. Butterfly, we already know, has basically got half a front wing, as well as David Lawface. Butterfly onto a set of softs. That must have been a mistake. I suppose it's Ferrari. They must still be remembering their days of 2020. Always good. Clown on the pit wall. Anyway, our Dummers onto a set of medium-sized. Button is getting a little bit... sounds certainly interesting. I think he was trying to let Reese's Pieces back past, because the game is as good as it is. Not. Reese's Pieces had to relinquish the place to Button, and then Button returns the favour back, because that is what cost Godfather last time out around Canada. So the orders we are: Wizard of Oz, the Undisputed, Reese's Pieces, the 1, 2, 3, Button 4th, Godfather in 5th, Speedy B 6th for Lorca. A decent start for him, let's have a look. And is up 2 places to 7th, 6 sandwich down 1 place to 8th. Then we have JSY, Sheriff Woody. The biggest loser at the start, arguably, is the flow out of the race so early on, but I'm still unsure as to what happened to the Aston Martin driver. It just looks like he might have either been shunted wide, or he lost the rear and just slammed into the barriers at the exit of turn 1. So, I suppose in a way, he'll put his feet up now and knuckle down for Silverstone next time out.
Yeah, that's exactly what he'll be doing. And yeah, Sid Sandwich, yeah, you've definitely had a funny Oreo with some stuff in it with that 10-second penalty. I don't think FPRL Locker's going to be very keen on you having that before the race started. Hopefully you've done him no damage, but you've done damage to your own race with a 10-second penalty now, and I'm surprised he maybe didn't want to get rid of that 10-second penalty potentially, but obviously he would have dropped a lot far back. He was also obviously mentioning Butterfly going on to the softs. Because not a lot of people have pitted, I don't necessarily know if that is so much of a mistake. It might just be that he can now go to around about the same length as the people that are on the mediums and then get on the hard tyres to the end. So I agree, if a lot of other people had pitted, it might have been a wrong decision, but he might be able to, if he can find the pace, he might be able to come back through. Oh, and the Wizard of Oz has been disconnected from the session, and the safety car is in this lap.
But that's not ideal, is it? As A, I've been muted and talking there, and B, Wizard of Oz's AI car is pitted as Leonardo is retired as well. He's lost out at the final corner. Oh my goodness me, what is going on? What is going on? I am stupid, and yes, it's everything going wrong now for Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get him back in now, and I think I will get him in now. So, but yeah, I don't know why it's pitted him. Maybe did he have some front wing damage? I didn't see any damage.
No, it's just the game. It's the game. Good.
But yeah, on that restart though, Reese's Pieces seems to have got past Jan Disputed, and obviously Jan Disputed is riding second. But now we're looking at the front two from last week in the two guys for the Red Bull teams, the senior and the junior team. It's exactly the same order as what it was last week out in Canada, with Reese's Pieces leading the way, Jan Disputed second, and Button in third position, Speedy B fourth, Godfather fifth, and FPRL looking up to sixth place. And I wonder if the Wizard of Oz can get back in. DRS is now enabled once again, and will we see Jay now trying to have a go at Reese's Pieces on the run down to turn 3? And he's really close to the Red Bull, and I think we're going to see just that as he goes around the outside before he gets to turn 2 and takes that position back. And now on those softer medium tyres, we'll be looking to try and pull at least a 1 second gap and have a bit of leeway to him and the cars behind. Won't have to fight anyone like he was with Wizard of Oz. Is he back in? I don't think he's back in yet, so I'm going to try and send him one more invite. Cruzy still muted.
It's the second time. It's the second time in transition. Oh, for goodness sakes. Yeah, I think it's time I rest my head. And oh dear, what we're like. 7 laps in, everyone, out of 36, and we've had about 5 talk-ups, and we're only through half an hour of the stream. Keeping good. Right, we're back. We're back. Anyway, JSY is struggling at keeping the DRS range of Sid Sandwich and didn't invite Sheriff Woody up to the back of them, and as our drummers with the first time penalty of the first 3-second penalty of the race. Sheriff Woody launching it over turn 1 to keep in range of the Williams, who doesn't have a DRS. He's dropped out to Locker, and Sid Sandwich, Sheriff Woody down over around the outside at turn 2, trying to get the traction down, gets ahead of him, but ahead of him at the detection line, JSY looking to get the traction down, he just doesn't have enough in it to keep up, and Sheriff Woody now up to 8th place. Can he now keep up with this, what do you call it, the group of 7 of Sid Sandwich upwards, about 1.4 seconds he's down. Just keep an eye out, because the DRS trains here, they might all bunch up, as Silver Boy says. Cruiser's getting the sack. Maybe I'm getting a little bit careless now in my line of duty. Reese's Pieces, he's almost shunting Jay Undisputed in towards turn 9. Certainly giving him the hurry up there, as it starts to look a little bit more cloudy actually overhead. Maybe this is what we were hinted at earlier.
Yeah, I think potentially. I think this is what the guys were saying in the chat about the weather in the race. And I don't know if Wizard of Oz is having issues, but he's still not back in the race yet. So we're going to try and give him one more invite, and after that, I think he might just be an AI car for the rest of the race if he can't get back into the session. And there we go, he's joined back now, finally, and we'll take back control of that Haas. But he's way back now from the leading pack. Obviously, Jay Undisputed and Reese's Pieces, like I said earlier, once again fighting for first and second position, and that's just allowing Button. Oh, there's contact there, and that's a big crash, and that's Speedy B. I'm not sure if he just spun it on his own accord or if he's had contact from behind. And
I think he might have been tagged by Godfather. Yeah, Godfather's lost his front right end plate.
Yeah.
Somehow when he hit the left-hand side of the Red Bull.
Yeah, I don't know how that's happened, but dear. Both of those cars down to 12th and 13th. And that now sees FPRL Locker on those hard tyres up in P4. It's been a long time since we've seen him that high up in a race. And but look at this top 3 now. He's got to try and stay in that second to Button in third position, because this front 3 now of Jay Undisputed, Reese has got another. Oh, Speedy B's retired in the pits. He said, I've had enough already. And that's a bit early to retire. Reese's Piece is going to have a go down the inside of Jay, but he's not going to quite go for it on this occasion. Speedy B now left the session. Reese's Pieces going to try and potentially take a dive. Is he going to have a go? It gets very close, but once again, Jay for now stays and holds on to that first position. Reese's Pieces going a bit wide there. Needs to stay with the RBs. He's going to go around the outside of the left-hander, but decides to back out of it. And now Jay's gone wide. This poses a great opportunity now for Reese to go through, and he does go through. Not at the place you'd expect, but takes the lead back off Jay. And now it is Reese that once again leads this Grand Prix, and Button's just sitting behind, watching it, and probably just waiting for the best opportunity to potentially take them both over.
The top 5 covered by 1.4 seconds, and then you got around 4 seconds back to Josh and our drummers, who did put under that safety car for a new front wing. He's now in 7th. As Sheriff Woody's in the pits as well, potentially for front wing damage. He's really struggling to keep up with the pack. His Button's got an almighty pull on the 2 in front of him. He's going to look down the inside of Jay and inside of the Red Bull. Button not messing about, and he gets the DRS as well because he was behind at the detection point. Button playing that to perfection, a double overtake at turn 3, and he takes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Reese's Pieces can't seem to hold the lead for any longer than a lap. First it was Jay, and now Button he's watched that fight unfold and says, thank you very much, I've had enough of that, I want to now see the back of yous.
Well, he literally did. His Button did literally what I say, just waiting for that right moment to take them both over, and he did it about 4 corners later. And now he leads this Grand Prix on lap 11. But how long is this dry weather going to hold out? 'Cause it looks very cloudy now. Are we going to see these medium or hard tyres get to where they need to get until the intermediates come? And Button's just staying ahead for now. Reese's Pieces just doesn't want to overtake because he knows that he'll lose the DRS, and as Cruiser says, there comes the rain now. We're going to see Inters very soon. Reese's Pieces takes first place back off Button. Is Jay going to have a go as well? Down the inside, no he's not. Locker slots in behind, very close as well in P4. And Sid sandwich, but he has that 10-second to his name, which is really going to affect him, but he will serve that when he comes in for Inter tyres, which surely we're going to see very soon. Button now going back at Reese's Pieces. There's a bit of contact there between the two, and Reese's Pieces manages to keep hold of the lead, and I really think we could see a bit of a turnaround soon with the pit stops. Who's gonna react first to this rain? Who's gonna come in and be brave enough to put on the intermediates? Are they gonna gain time? Are they gonna lose time? I think
I have a feeling it might be one of the medium runners who pits first. They seem to be really struggling just to keep it facing forwards, as shown there. Button can barely keep it straight. G Undisputed suffering as well, and he's going to try and get a slingshot. Both of them at threat of losing the DRS to Reese's Pieces, who just seems to have enough confidence, just have enough grip in the tyres. As Jane Button side by side at turn 1, that is really going to hemorrhage time for the pair of them. Wizard of Oz has retired through a disconnect. He couldn't take back control of his car, and that's the second time this season he's been plagued by internet issues for the Haas driver. But as Locker down the inside of Jay, and he touched.
I think it was Sid. Took him out.
Oh dear. He's still in range though as Locker. He might just get back in this race as his teammate goes past. He's in a slot now in 7th place behind Josh. Could have been far worse for Locker, but at the same time could have been a lot better, aka not having that not happen, as both of them drift wide, and Locker now back up to 5th.
Yeah, he would have been hating that, but then would have loved it just seeing those two cars in front of him just drift wide, and that's the rain kicking in. And I'm wondering now, are we going to see these front runners pit on this lap? And I think probably we are going to see the first of them come in. It is getting quite slippery out there, and Reese's Pieces thought was going to pit, doesn't, but Button does react. He's into the box, and he is the first person to come into the pits. Jan Disputed continues, gets a 3-second penalty for continuing, and Button is the first one into the box. Still no one else. Our Gummers now pits. Needs to make sure he gets that Mercedes slowed down enough. He does do. And now we're seeing a few more coming in. Godfather also in, but only 3 of the guys have come in. On to Inters, and the question is now, will Button gain an advantage, or is another lap or 2 the best way to go? He now comes out of the box. He's going to be behind Aviation JSY, and we've just got to monitor now the gap between him and the Williams, and just see if it's going to be going up or down. That's going to give us an indication to whether he's going to lose time or not to Reese's Pieces. I reckon now, seeing Button pit, but the rest of the guys will surely be into the pits this lap.
I think we really notice the difference around the middle sector, because the first sector is really just one long straight line. But Button gaining 20.6, 20.5, that is coming down a little bit to GSY, as I notice G Undisputed drifting around turn 7. Sid Sandwich just about keeping it in there too, but Reese's Pieces, he just seems to have so much more confidence. Just a lot more grip as well, compared to the two in front as Jay carries on. But Sid Sandwich a little bit reluctant there to get past him. That might come back to bite them before his pit stops as Locker and Reese's Pieces are in now. This seems to be the lap. Cactus carries on. What about David? David's in as well. I think you can tell by the surface of the tyres, it is now the time. So the likes of David, Locker, Reese's Pieces, they have timed this absolutely perfectly for the transition to the Inters. But where's Button going to emerge? Because you can see just over the barricade there is Reese's Pieces. Button is going to get the jump on all of them. Perfect there for Button. He's now right back in this.
Yeah, he really did a good jump there. He didn't gain really a lot of time, but he gained just enough to now take the net lead off Reese's Pieces. And those V-carbs that have stayed out first and second, they've definitely made the wrong decision now, because I definitely think it's about the right time for definitely to be in for Inters. They've got to be in this lap. We've still got DRS, so there's still theoretically a case to be on the hard and the medium tyre, the dry tyre, but I think they've got to come in this lap. But the thing is, they're both in the same team, one of them's going to have to continue, and I think that person's going to be Jay here, if Sid's the first one to react. And it's not. They both stay on again, and I really think they're damaging their race here. Cactus comes into the box now. He almost goes wide into the barrier on the way in, and DRS is now disabled. And let's just see now that gap between Reese's Pieces and the two V-Carbs drop and drop and drop.
And I've got about 13.5 seconds back to Reese's Pieces. Actually, looking at this, our Drummers has really purchased here from these pit stops. He's now found himself up in 6th. He's going to be ahead of Cactus. David has actually found himself 2. Up in 7th, he's ahead of the McLaren, and he's going to, because there's a McLaren there. David Lawface now up in what could be a net 4th after the RBs make their pit stops. But is this intentional too for the RBs? Is this going to be just a temporary rain shower? It's interesting. As Radical said, it's not gone well for the V-Carbs. Indeed it has not. Both of them suffering badly. They've lost nearly 2 seconds this lap alone to Reese's Pieces on the inters. Both of these two tiptoeing on the dries. This might be the first major blunder in the campaign for Sid and Jay Undisputed. Reese's Pieces though, he's still looking good. But if Button can keep the 0, if David Lawface can keep the 0 like he done in Australia, Alpine are there to pounce.
Yeah, and it's getting really slippery now, and look at that time coming down between Jay and Reese. It's come down about 4 seconds in the last half a lap. And yeah, potentially it might be, like you just said, Cruiser, that they're waiting for this small rain shower to pass and it go back to dry conditions. But even at that, you know, the medium's at 16 laps. I mean, you would be coming in if it was dry conditions anyway. So they're going to be pitting regardless, so I don't think this is the right decision here. For the V-Carbs, now down to 5 seconds, and surely, potentially at the end of this lap, Reese is going to be past them on the fresher, more durable, better quality intermediate tyres in these conditions. But yeah, let's go back to the other guys down a bit further down. Our Governors, David Lawface, LIG Josh and Cactus, all pitted around about a lap later than the other guys, and for them it seems to have paid off. They've really gained some positions. And we were saying it's such fine margins around here, only a few tenths a lap between the drivers, but there we go. That just proves if you make one decision 1 lap later or 1 lap before, that's what it can do to your race. And Jay Undisputed now really struggling. He's now lost out to Button, he's lost out to Reese's Pieces, and I think we're going to potentially see him into the pits. Yes, we are. Sid Sandwich is going to carry on. Jay, I think he's going to drop down to potentially 12th place here, I think. Maybe 11th.
Yeah, he's going to be out of the points here as the RB driver, and already Sid Sandwich going wide at turn 1. Reese's Pieces retakes the lead. RB disaster so far for them, but it's still a long way to go, and even if that Sid is on the hards, he's really hoping this rain shower doesn't last too long, as there goes Button going to the right hand side and giving a little friendly wave to Sid Sandwich as he romps away from the RB. Up to 2nd place now is Button, still clean on penalties. Reese's Pieces leading the way as Button is a little drifted around turn 4. 2.5 seconds between the pair of them. Reese's Pieces though is on a 3-second penalty. Button is clean. Sid Sandwich, I think he's really staying out because he can't afford to lose that 10 seconds in his pit stop. Our Drummers though up in 4th, David up in 5th, and you just see there Sid, he's absolutely powerless right now. He can't do a thing to defend or even to attack his position. He's now went from the lead of the race now down to what could potentially be 6th at the end of this one. David now up in 4th, and surely for Sid, he's going to have to pit this lap. And he's still going on.
Yeah, this is a really bad decision here, and he's, if anything, he's just getting in people's way, and it's really dangerous actually. They could come around, and he's going so slow in the corners, they could just pile in the back of him. I don't know why he's not coming in. His teammate now is less than a straight away from him after pitting. So, yeah, he definitely needs to get onto the inters. There's clearly this rain is lasting longer than what they thought, and it's got so hard there. You can see it splashing off the track, and he's still on the hard tyres, trying to make them last. But now down to P8, and that's soon going to be last place if he carries on this set of hard tyres. And we'll just go back to the front we're obviously seeing the battle for the lead, and Reese's Pieces, a winner from last week, winning again, but he has a 3-second penalty, so theoretically at the moment he's only 3 tenths ahead of Button, who doesn't hold a penalty at the moment. David Lolface is actually up in a net 3rd place. Obviously a podium at the start of the season for David. He'll be very impressed with another one. The Alpine duo at the moment currently going to both be on the podium, but we're only just halfway through this race, and if anything to go by the comments in the chat before the start, I think we're going to be seeing dry weather soon, potentially, as we go on towards the end part of this race. And Cactus as well. Locker's hanging in there. You know, he's been knocked around once, and he maybe pitted a lap earlier for the Inters, but he's carrying on well, and he's still P7. There's all big chance of him potentially getting some big points today as well.
And Sid Sandwich gives up a losing fight. He's into the pits for the RB team, who started out, both of them in the top 10. Now the both of them are, one of them's just about in the top 10. Jay Undisputed now 10th. Sid is doing a merge down in 12th. If he can even get ahead of Butterfly, that is, he'd be 13th. As on board now on the front wing camera of Cactus, Josh makes a mistake around turn 4, and Cactus just scoots on by up now to 5th place as a McLaren up it, and we're looking here from third place R Dummers up 11 places, 4th place David Lawface up 13, 5th place Cactus up by 11 places. Just how much one strategy call can change a race.
Yeah, definitely, and I've just seen that Sid Sound has come out on the medium tyres. Fantastic.
I mean, he's determined to make this work. But yeah, I think pride is taking over a bit for Sid Sandwich. He wants to make this work, but let's be real, it's not, and it never did work for the RB driver. He's gonna have to hope for a miracle to even score points in this race.
He's definitely going to hope for a miracle, and once again I'm going to say it, why did he have that Oreo at the start of this race? Because it's clearly done something bad to him, because he's making all the wrong decisions now. As now Rayman overtakes him, and he's now back at the grid, soon to be lapped if he doesn't come in again. And yeah, well, either way, if he comes in or if he stays out, he's going to get lapped by Reese's Pieces. And you know, he is staying on those mediums, and he's sliding absolutely everywhere, so potentially going to have a lap car soon, unless this rain immediately falls off, but I can't see that at the moment. It still looks like it's very, very wet out there. We just saw FPRL Locker having a bit of a fight with IG Josh, and Josh sliding about like anything, almost goes off there, and Locker just needs to wait for the right opportunity to go past and get himself up to P6. Wait for the right opportunity, go down the inside there if you want, before the final corner. And up to P6 he goes, Sheriff Woody with a 3-second penalty. Jan Disputer with a 3-second penalty as well. That is 6 seconds, and we all know what we've got to do. I'm going to let you do the first one, Cruiser.
Ooh. There you go. I mean, he did ask for it, so he's got it. As David Lawface, penalty or not for the Mercedes of our drummers, David Lawface wants to inherit 3rd place himself, and he's going to. Alpine 2 and 3, and look at that, raining around the track, Red Bull winning, Alpine 2nd and 3rd. We've seen that before. Yeah,
we have seen that, haven't we, in real life this season, or last season I should say now. But yeah, David looks like he's got the better in these conditions than his teammate. Button's really dropping back from Reese's Pieces. The gap now, I think I was only mentioning it maybe 4 or 5 laps ago, that it was around 3 seconds. It's now almost 8. And David really looks like he's going to really here to overtake his teammate. He looks the faster driver. He is the faster driver. And Button here potentially going to get out of the way. Was he coming in? I think he's coming in.
Is that even front wing damage for Button? I don't... Unless it's really minor front wing damage for Button, there's no reason, at least to me, he should be losing that much time. But David now up to 2nd. What is the call here for Button? It looks like another set. It's dry tyres. Oh, Button, what are you doing?
That's mental. That's absolutely mental.
That is brave. I'll say that. That is definitely brave. If you're doing it all for dries, unless that has been a major mistake for the Alpine driver.
Well, I mean, you say brave. I mean, I'm going to put it a bit more bluntly. I think it's more stupid.
No, I mean, I
still
certainly
re-
wouldn't. I certainly
It's-
wouldn't say that, but
it's
it's not wrong.
Well, I mean, he's gone off there at turn 3, and it's still raining, and yeah, he's on the hard tyres. No idea why he's made that decision. Was in a podium position, and he's somewhat thrown it away. Unless, yeah, and he's off again. Look, I have no idea why he has done that, unless that is a genuine mistake. But I don't think he had a wing change at all, so I don't understand that one bit.
Well, it doesn't matter for Reese's Pieces. He's got a 10-second lead over David Lawface in second. There's now Dodfather's in the pits as well. It does look like the rain is lightening off, but it's still way too early for dry tyres. Unless this is what the McLaren team are going to do, and it looks like it is. I can see a set. That's actually another set of inters. Obviously, Dodfather suffering with tyre wear. Wouldn't really surprise me, as Cactus has now lost a place to Locker, who is really on a charge here. The two wise heads in the lead, David in second, Locker now up to fourth, and what would be third if our drummers isn't within, Locker's not within 3 seconds of his teammate by the end of the race. And so far, Locker is running ahead at third place. So all in all, a good effort for the pair of them, as there is the wounded, shall we say, Sid Sandwich getting out of the way of the lead runners. I say wounded very lightly.
Yeah, he's going to be very disappointed with that. He's back now onto the wet tyres. Just got to hope for a bit of a safety car. And is that Josh with another penalty? And that is that 6 seconds? It is a 6 seconds. Ooh, that is 6 seconds. Why did we agree to do this? I don't know, but...
What, and one for Sheriff Woody as well, who we went unnoticed. Oh well. I mean, we need to keep this race entertaining, because the fuel spread right now is mental. But it's worth mentioning here, Sheriff Woody, the poor man's 9 seconds behind this group here for 4th place, and is 10 seconds ahead of the next closest challenger. So, it looks like it's going to be a casual 9th place. There goes G Undisputed, launching it on the inside of GSY. Just gets it stopped, and GSY almost goes into the side of him as a little, what was that for? But G Undisputed, unfazed, and he's up now to 7th place, and he's got to get a move on. 6 seconds of penalties to his name, and he wants to build them as much of a gap as he can to these drivers who don't have a single penalty yet. That being the likes of GSY, Cactus, Locker, even David Lawface, who's not that far up the road. He's around 6 seconds ahead of this group, which is starting to get held up now by Locker's teammate, our drummers, who pulls to the right to let escort his teammate through, and Cactus has now got a problem dealing with him. Locker now unleashed as Cactus goes wide and shade down the inside at the final corner.
Yeah.
It's all starting to kick off now.
No, he outbroke himself. Cactus went straight in the back of our Gummers. Now has wing damage, and that's why he went wide. So you're going to see him now with end plate damage on the front right of his wing, and now Jan Disputed really charging back through the field now on those fresher intermediate tyres. Back up to 5th position. He has got 6 seconds of penalties, but to come that far back into the pack, it's really quite impressive. It just shows you, if you have a bit newer, fresher intermediate tyres, how fast they can be. And his next target is going to be our Gummers, and he's using the overtake. I think he's going to take a dive potentially down here, and he is going to take a dive on the Mercedes, and now he's up to P4. He's really coming back through the field now as the championship leader. But is Locker going to be this nice to him as he tries to make his way past David Lawface? Another 4 seconds up the road. It was, to be fair to him, keeping a good pace with Reese's Pieces. I think Reese's Pieces on David's only gained about another 7 tenths in the last sort of 5-6 laps, and I think that rain is just starting to wear off now. Are we going to see dry weather before the end of this race?
It's certainly looking to ease up, and the track doesn't look anywhere near as wet as it was. So this could be even more carnage for the pit stops, and this could actually lead the likes of David and Locker. If they time this right, they should get a lot closer to that Red Bull, as Locker pulls to the right. That looks a little bit like an escort there for Locker, saying, I'm not going to fight you, on you go. and Jay Undisputed back up into the podium places, still 6 seconds hanging over his head, and partly, I think, why Locker didn't fight that one too hard. But the gap now between Jay and David, 4.7 seconds, and Locker, all he's got to do is just keep up with the back of that RB. That's all he's got to do.
Oh, and as Jay, goes around turn 4.
Domers has made a mistake. He's got the gravel.
Yeah, Cactus goes past him now, back up to P7, and he gets wide as well and comes across, and they almost touch there, but they keep it together. Just the Mercedes and the McLaren, and they're still side by side, going around the left-hander and now the right-hander, and the McLaren stays ahead, but very, very tight there. I was just about to say that we've only got a few more drivers now that have on no penalties, and I think our Gummers, is he into the box? He is into the box. So is Cactus into the box, and we've also got one more into the box, which is our Gummers has come in and got a 10-second penalty. That's David Lowface in the box. Mediums to the end it is. Reese's Pieces on mediums as well, and this is the time to get on to the soft tyre, the dry tyre, but we still haven't seen the DRS enabled yet. And Sid Sandwich now got another 3 seconds. Button got a 3 seconds as well. A lot of people starting to get more penalties. There is a few that still haven't got any. One of them, FPRL Locker, currently in P2, will be seen into the box this lap.
And Locker has stayed out. He might just be going for it, as there's a collision at the back. That is Button, and that is kind of summed up his race. And that is a virtual safety car for the beached Alpine. Can't quite get out of reverse gear onto Widows now. So Button, I think, much like Sid Sandwich, pride is hurt at the end of this race. But Jay Undisputed, this is going to help him just to sustain this gap. He's got 7.5 seconds over Reese's Pieces, and if this is what he wants, he's going to service and get into the pits. And this might help Locker out too. If the virtual safety car stays out for any longer than it can, Locker might find himself in a much better position. And that, even at that JSY as well, he might find himself in a fight for third.
Yeah, he might do indeed, and Reese's Pieces has to slow down. He can't go at the speed he wants to.
I think Jay's going to jump him here. Jay's going to jump him.
I think he should just get ahead, Reese's Pieces. Just about. It's going to be tight.
No, he's not. Oh, he's just done it.
Yeah, and there goes
Just
Locker.
no
Locker's
more,
going to be P3. David Lowface is going to be P4. And
we're going green.
And then we're going green. So it's literally Jay versus Reese. We've seen it once again last week. It's these two once again. Jay's got to try now and get past and gain 3 seconds. Locker now up in P3. Doesn't have a penalty to his name. At the moment will take P2. But that depends on if he can keep the gap between him and Jay at less than 6 seconds.
And that's if David can catch up too and get within 6 seconds of Jay Undisputed as well. Looking around 8 seconds is the gap between him and the RB. But Reese's Pieces and Jay Undisputed, just like last week around Canada, the 1-2, and that occasion it was a front wind that cost Jay Undisputed a run at the Red Bull. Now it's a 6-second penalty compared to Reese's Pieces on 3 seconds. So Jay's got it all to do once more as the DRS is enabled at the perfect point for the RB to get the hammer down and hunt that Red Bull in towards turn 1. Not going to happen there, and your best bet really is in towards turn 3. Up the hill, rising all the time. Reese's Pieces going to use a bit of the battery to try and defend. Jay Undisputed not using any battery, just using the slipstream and DRS up the hill. Is going to brake a little bit later. Give a little bit of a love tap there to the gearbox of the Red Bull, and he's just going to sit behind them for a little bit longer. But the problem is with the DRS that these two will have, this is going to make Locker's task and David's task that much more difficult. Fighting for 4th place though is David, and after where he started this race, he'll not complain at that one bit. But GSY's got other plans. That virtual safety car helping him beautifully to get up into 5th place on his return to FPRL, up 6 places compared to David going up 13 places. Jay Undisputed down 1, and Locker, that's what you had to avoid, mate.
Yeah, that is what you had to avoid. That's really going to affect him now. He still is a net P3. Jan as well. He's giving it back to him. Jan Undisputed now 9 seconds. trying to give Reese's Pieces, it looks like, the win once again. Like a bit like last week where he got too many penalties and really didn't put up much of a fight in the end to the Red Bull driver. But Locker now with a penalty. JSY now up to P4. He's got a potential of getting a podium here. David Lowface as well, still in with the chance of having potentially a podium. Just got to keep off the penalties. That's what they got to do. And he will have DRS now, will David. But will he go back at the Williams, or is he going to wait till the second DRS zone? It is going to be waiting till the second zone. And as he comes around, we're just going to go to the front as well, because Jay's making a move now on Reese's Pieces. Takes the lead, but it's only on track. It's not if we take the penalties into account. Going back to David, and can't make a move on JSY on this lap. And will JSY now start to pull away from the Alpine? Just got to try and stay within the second barrier. But Jay, he's got to try and gain 6 seconds now in 5 laps, and I don't think he's going to do that.
So a different to go though is the Undisputed as Rayman joins the Gary Neville club. Oh, there you go. And that's 4 drivers now, but actually no, if Jay does get 12 seconds, does that be another Gary Neville sound? I don't know. Anyway, 5 laps left in the Styrian Mountains. Jay Undisputed leading the way by 0.7 of a second to Reese's Pieces, but 9 seconds in penalties compared to the Red Bulls 3. Lockhart putting in a solid shift tonight to end in 3rd. Can he stay there though, because JSY and David Lowface are on the prowl. They are on the hunt for that Mercedes on a 3-second penalty himself. Both of these two don't have a penalty just yet. This could very quickly become a fight for 3rd unless Locker can just keep them at arm's length. Josh having a solid effort right now in 6th and looks to probably stay there by the end of the checkered flag. Our Dormers has done 16 seconds of penalties in a fight now with Sheriff Woody, both of them on penalties themselves, as JSY has left the session. Perfect timing for him. Absolutely not, as our Dormers makes another mistake around turn 4 and Sheriff Woody now up to 6th. JSY will need to get back quickly, as through the middle sector that looks to be Josh who has hit problems. Josh now made a mistake there too, and Jay Undisputed doing everything he can to try and build a gap to Reese's Pieces. He just hits right back at him. 0.6 of a second now, and both of them setting a fastest lap. Sheriff Woody now joins the 9-second club with Jay Undisputed, and David Lawface, that might have just gave him a chance at hunting down Locker for what could be the final podium spot. That made that he's got about 4 seconds, as David's really struggling here, it seems. He can't quite get away from JSY's AI car, but he's now gets a nice DRS now down towards turn 4. That's 5 seconds now between himself and Locker. He's got to go for it now, does the Alpine driver.
Yeah, he does indeed. Button's got on setting soft. He's just looking for pride now. Does get the fastest lap with 3 laps to go. And we'll just try and have a good last few laps of this race. There's only 3 drivers now with no penalties. That's Cactus, JSY and David Lowface, who are fighting for this P4, P3. And they are now 5 seconds behind Locker. So I think Locker's going to hold on to this podium. And he is now 6 seconds though. He's more than 6 seconds behind Jay, so he won't gain up to P2 at this rate. But Reese's Pieces knows he hasn't got to do anything silly here. He just got to stay near Daniel's speed. He can even go a bit and have a bit of a relax. Is he going to have a go for it on track though? I don't think he is quite just yet. He might have a go now down to turn 4 as he gets on the DRS. Not using the battery, he's just actually saving it. No battery being used, so yeah, he's not too bothered about overtaking the RB. He just wants to stay there and just pick up the win. But Cactus there, taking the fastest lap away from Button on the medium tyres. Oh, and Button's got speed in the pit lane, and is this going to be for another set of softs, or is this going to be retiring in the pits? Jay Sids now took the fastest lap with a 105.9, so the fastest lap changing all the time. And yeah, look at Jay now. He's actually getting unlapped here by Rayman in the Aston Martin. So yeah, he's taking it quite easy here. Maybe he's trying to make Reese's Pieces go for a move and makes a mistake there out of turn 1, and just Reese's Pieces can just go back through. Doesn't have to make anything hard about that. Button with another 3-second penalty. I think he's really given up on this now.
Yeah, it all went wrong in the pit stops for Button, but dust yourself down, go again next week, it seems, for the Alpine driver who just can't quite break the bad habit of bad luck. Got 2 laps, well, I'll say 2 laps, I've got a lap and a half left as we have an intimate moment between an Aston Martin and an RB. As around turn 5, Jay finally gets ahead of the lapped Rayman, and next up will be Butterfly for them. Godfather and Cactus having their own little inter-team duel with each other in a fight for what is a bit nothing in the end really, because Cactus will end up ahead of him in 9th place as there goes Rayman into the pits. I'd imagine wanting to go for a fastest lap, but not going to happen because the leaders are on the final lap. Reese's Pieces, much like Canada, seems to have the last laugh over J Undisputed, and although a slow start, thankfully he's got a buffer of 7 seconds to Lockwood as Reese's Pieces trying to lap Butterfly. He has got himself another penalty as J Undisputed wants to at least get a bit of morale back and say, you might beat me from penalties, but I'm going to take the checkered flag first, says the RB driver. Reese's Pieces defenceless in towards turn 4, and J Undisputed just lets Reese's Pieces know, for all he's going to outscore him today, he's got a lot of work to do to catch up to the RB, and as long as he keeps that gap to Lockhart, he will take 2nd place. And the Undisputed Era a little bit derailed the last few races, not through any fault of its own, but Reese's Pieces is there to pick up said pieces, pick up the straps, and take what is going to be his 2nd victory in a row in Tier 3, and for the first time this campaign not have a new winner in the campaign. Button takes the fastest lap, J Undisputed takes the checkered flag, Reese's Pieces takes the win around the Red Bull Ring, their home track, and somewhat of a hero for Reese's Pieces. Not quite smooth sailing, but indeed weathered the mid-race storm. J Undisputed takes 2nd place. Lockhart, welcome back to the podium. 3rd place for yourself. David Lawface takes 4th. I'd imagine JSY, throughout that disconnect, he did take 4th place ahead of David Lawface. We'll need to check that back and hopefully clarify that in the results. Sheriff Woody will take 5th question mark. Josh on their return scores points for Haas. Cactus just misses out in the Haas for the landslide of penalties that Josh did have. As it was our Dummers who had the penalties there. He's down in 9th, and Butterfly a lap down, won't capitalise for 10th. But if I'm correct, that'll be our Dummers 10th, Godfather 9th, Cactus 8th. Our Dummers will finish in, as I say, 10th. Josh will finish in 7th, Sheriff Woody 6th, David 5th, JSY will be 4th, and the top 3, Lockhart, J Undisputed, and Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, no, it's been another great race for Reese's Pieces, same as last week. 2 wins in a row now, it really puts him in contention for this championship. But once again, Jay in that 2nd place, that also keeps him with a good lead now. Obviously he's gained on Sheriff Woody. Sheriff Woody finishes P6, and he gains more points there. Obviously loses 7 to Reese's Pieces, but yeah, it's still got a comfortable lead in this championship for now, but it has to be said, great to see him on the podium once again. Only 9/10 off the P2. What a drive from him today. And David Lowface as well in P5, and JSY as well, P4. On his return after a few races away, he can be happy with that. No penalties as well.
As the podium celebrations take place, and I say a day of reflection there for RB. They get away with one, especially for Jay. If not for that charge through the pack, that could have been far, far worse. But Sid Sandwich gambling on a dry spell in the race didn't work out for the teammate of J Undisputed, as Locker's in the party. Hopefully get Reese's Pieces in, and we'll get a word with J Undisputed. Still our championship leader, but Reese's Pieces chipping away at that gap. And if I am to be correct with the scoring tonight, that'll be 25 points for Reese's Pieces. That'll put him up to 62. J Undisputed will have himself on 79. So that is going to be a 17-point gap between Jay and Reese's Pieces. It's, as I say, it's just whittling down. Reese's Pieces back-to-back victories, and much needed for the Red Bull driver and for their constructors' hopes as well. David Lawface does classify in 4th, but we needed to go, I think, to the VAR on that one. As actually tell a lie, JSY is classified to be 4th, but the timings have glitched out So David will take 5th, but still from 17th to 5th. Tracking effort from the Alpine driver. And in the race where safety cars were aplenty, strategy was necessary. Reese's Pieces back to back.
Yeah, no, like I said, great win for him once again. And 17 points in, less than a win. He'll definitely be eyeing up that championship lead now, and we'll hope that he can either slowly chip away at Jay's lead, or just hope that Jay has an off race and maybe doesn't score any points, and that's a big place when he can take advantage and get himself right in this championship fight. But all comes down to consistency. He's got to make sure that he finishes well himself as well.
And just checking to see if Jay can get a quick word in our Discord server. But in the meantime, I think really it's only fair as we head to the Mercedes camp. The two former commentary partners of the league from many moons ago reunited once more. So Monkey Boy Kurt, our P3 driver, FPRL Locker.
Yeah, great to see him back on the podium. Locker, good to see you back up here, mate. Hopefully you got your audio included. But back on the podium, you must be delighted with that. We'll obviously start with the quali P9, but really the small margins around here, you could have easily potentially been on the second row. I think it was 2 or 3 tenths between you and third place.
Yeah, I think my last run, I sort of botched the first corner, lost myself a couple of attempts, so I gave myself a little bit too much to do on my last run. But yeah, it's one of those tracks where everybody's so frigging close. But yeah, 4 attempts off, P9. Proves how close it is.
Yeah, no, especially around here, these obviously short tracks like Austria, always going to have fine margins in quali. But we'll come to the first part of the race with the dry part, the first half, and it looked like you had some decent pace on the dry sets of tyres. We saw you sort of slowly come up the field, not any penalties at that time of the race, and there was a little bit of contact between yourself and one of the other drivers, which pegged you back a little bit. But you did well to come back into the fight, and obviously then the rain was coming. Obviously, you would have known with what the weather said on the start of the race. How did you fancy yourself in the wet? Did you think you'd be quite as fast as you were? You seem to be coping with it quite well.
I was all right. Not obviously as strong as in the dry, I felt personally. But yeah, I seem to handle it pretty well. I'm just focusing on not sliding and crashing and whatnot. But yeah, it worked out well in the end. I think I was following somebody at one point. They were looking a bit slidey around the corners, so it was just about patience, I guess. Just biding my time and then bouncing.
Yeah, and then obviously coming to the end of the race, going back onto the dry tyres obviously at the end, and that's sort of home stretch to the end of the race. Obviously that 3-second penalty in the end did cost you the second place that you could have potentially had, but obviously we'll still take P3. I did think at one point that Jay might have dropped into the zone of actually being overtaken by you. It was sitting at around about 6.5 seconds for a good 2 or 3 laps near the end, but obviously a great podium for yourself. And great to see you back up here. Next week, I believe we head to Silverstone. So home track for lots of drivers. Are we looking forward to that one?
Yeah, I'd say it's up there with one of my most favourite tracks alongside this. I would have been disappointed if I wasn't on the podium tonight, to be fair, because I've always felt this is my strongest track. But yeah, Silverstone's always up there as well. So yeah, we'll see what we can do. See if we can repeat the results, I guess.
Yeah, well, exactly. Obviously, hope for a repeat result or even better. But no, congratulations on the P3. Well done to you. And
Thank you very much.
Hold on to you. Hold back to you to be our race winner.
Cheers, lads, and congratulations, Locker. First podium in quite a while, actually. But it's always nice to have you back. Nice to have you back and showing that the old dog still has it. Well, I get a quick word from Jay in the Discord server. He's still typing his reply. There's the RB. Not you need to know what that is. Jay always finds a way to get into the podium chatter. And for the second time in a row, Reese's Pieces, congratulations. And another smooth sailing race, but it didn't have its problems, did it?
No, it was one of them races. I put in the Twitch chat before we got into the race that I wanted the weather to stay the same, and I'm glad that it did.
Well, obviously going into this race, having the victory from Canada, again keeping the penalties down, doing what you have to do, and another victory to your name. But again, Jay's always finding a way to keep up with you. So I think this is something I think you want to avoid in the future. But at the same time, seeing you two go at it toe to toe, it's certainly an enjoyable thing to watch.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's very fast. I think he was very unlucky today, to be honest. I think if well, it's Austria, everybody's going to get penalties. So I think if you put both of us on the track without any penalties at all, I think it would have been obviously a little bit more interesting because you really would have been racing right to the line. But it's just unfortunate about the track limits, but still close together, less than a second, we finished. So yeah, no, it's exciting going into the rest of the season.
And just before we do head off, Silverstone next time out, could the hat trick be on the cards?
Potentially. I'd like to think so. I do like Silverstone. I felt like it's a confident track for me. Another one for track limits at certain corners, and Bioware can be a bit rubbish around there. But if I could do a three-peat somehow, then that would be, I think, a very big achievement for me.
And yeah, I'll say congratulations to yourself. And before we do head off, Monkey Boy Kurt, make sure you have your candidates ready for driver of the day. We do have word from J Undisputed, obviously playing cross-platform. We can't hear from him personally, but we can hear from him through our Discord server, saying finally got P1 in qualifying, but didn't have the initial pace he had hoped at the start, and it was a DRS train. When the rain arrived, it initially said on the forecast it'd be about 5 minutes, which it clearly wasn't. It was about 15 laps, and it ruined the RB's race. And from there on in, it was just about recovering through the midfield. On intermediates, it was a powerful comeback, flying past the mid-pack, and the virtual was a massive crutch and clutch to help him back up the order. And at least this time, had a solid fight with Reese's Pieces, but the 9 seconds solidified his second place. I mentioned Stewie's also got a 100% podium rate in Tier 3, so certainly keep that momentum, and you've got a shot at the championship, which he still leads by 17 points at the end of his race provisionally, by 17 points as we head off to Silverstone next time out for Tier 3. But before we get there, we have 2 more events in Austria. Our Tier 3 race, you'll find myself and the rest of Tier 2 taking on the Red Bull Ring Wednesday 8 PM UK time, before you find the Tier 1 race Friday 8 PM UK time. Both races happening on the 19th and 21st of February. So be sure to check out the FPRL Twitch channel, twitch.tv/FP Racing League, for your weekly fill of lead racing action. And our social medias too, our X account, formerly Twitter, at FairPlayRL, and our newly revamped Instagram account at fairplay_RL. Can't imagine what happened with the old one. And our YouTube, our Fairplay Racing League, all lowercase, all the one word. All our profile pictures are the same. You can't miss us, and you don't want to miss our week in the Styrian Mountains. But before we go for the evening, Monkey Boy Kurt, as unprepared and as forgettable as we are to unmute our microphones. Last week it was you, now this week it was me, twice. We always have a driver of the day. So,
Do indeed.
who's your pick?
We do indeed have a driver of the day, and we've got a few candidates. Obviously, a good drive there once again for Reese's Pieces, 2 wins in a row. We also saw David Lowface climbing up from P17 to P5 with no penalties. So a very worthy winner if he was to take it. But I think it is only fair that we do give it to the man that is currently finding himself on P3 of this podium today. It's been a long time coming for him, and he's come up from P9 to P3, 6 places, and drove a brilliant race. So I'm going to give it this time. There's no locker agenda today. FPR locker, you are stage driver of the day.
Yes.
Welcome
Thank
back,
you.
Locker. And that is just going to be our goodbye for Monday nights. We'll see you next week when we pack our bags and head back home to Silverstone. But before then, that has been Monkey Boy Tart.
Yeah, cheers everyone. Thank you very much.
And this has been Cruiser 1872. We hope to see you for the remainder of our time in Austria. But this has been Tier 3, and this has been Cruiser 1872. Thank you all very much for watching, and from all of us here at FPRL, good night.